and set your trap here. Last thing I do is I set this. Last thing I do is I'll make sure that I take these safeties off. These little hooks, L hooks. I take those off as the very last thing I do, but my hands are nowhere near that trap. You always got to think safety. I'll come in here and I'll set this trap up. And here I'm gonna dig this out just a little more. I'll just throw some bait up in there like carp. You know, if you bow fish or you fish for a large amount of stuff, a lot of times you go in and I'll come in here with some brush. I'll take some brush sometimes and just cover it over. It makes that coon have to commit to duck his head to go in that hole. I'll take shad. That works real good. Jack mackerel works real well. You can put that in there, and you can eliminate getting a dog in there then. And that's the key. You don't want to get somebody's pet in there, because everybody knows that when you're trapping, everybody's going to pay attention to the leash law in the county, you know. And there's leash law, wildlife, most of your county animal control people say if the animal is not on a lead, he's a stray, you know. So there are leash laws in the state. But I use that a lot. I'll actually come in, I'll take a stick and I'll impale a fish on this, on a stick like that. Get that down in the water. You can impale him on that, and I'll come in, I'll take my little number 1 traps, and these have auxiliary springs on them, and they're pretty stout. You get a coon in them, he ain't gonna get out. I got them set up where I can set them up on the grounder, get him off in deep water, and drown him. That's what I do. And take that. These little auxiliary springs are pretty stout. I actually set this little trap right here. I'll come in, I'll set my trap up, and I like to cover this thing in just a little bit of water here. I actually set it up where it's going to be here. I've got this usually run off to a towel out in deep water out here, and I'll set the same here. And the reason why I do, I'll set one on a towel here, set another one on a towel there, impale your fish here on the stick. When he's up here working, trying to get that, he's placing back feet all around. Get him to step down on that trap. I've come in many a day and had 2 coons in the trap. One laying over here floating in the stream, another laying over here floating in the stream. Works real well that way. I'll give you an idea how this thing's set up. These are little Blake and Lamb traps with auxiliary springs on them. They are stout. I would not be afraid to say you catch an otter in this thing and he'd be right there when you got to him with auxiliary springs. But I'll come in here and set this trap in here like this, run this thing off to a tie off over here, off in deep water. Same here. I'll run it here because I want him to be over here working. He's walking around, and I put it about 6 inches away or so, about 5 or 6 inches away from the stick. It allows him to be able to walk around, and these are covered in water, probably inch or 2 inches in water. I actually take some of the silt out of the bottom of the creek and sprinkle over it, and kind of hides and camouflages that trap. Of course, your traps are always dyed and everything protects your equipment. But once you get them, you can make double catches on them. You catch a lot of raccoon that way. That's a good deadly set right there. Any of your boxes are real good. I love to use those boxes because it allows for you to position that coon in the front. He's got to duck that head to get in here. It allows him to get in there and you can catch it. Anybody have any questions about any coon trapping? Everybody do a lot of coon trapping around here? A lot of coons out. One thing about the coons, if you'll pay attention when they do your skinning demos today too, he'll show you proper cuts on the coon. You can make a $30 coon be a $5 coon real quick by making the wrong cuts on them. You can actually put it to where you can actually make opening cuts on the coon. Once you make that opening cuts on that coon, you can actually go from a large to extra large coon. You can actually increase the fur length on that animal by your one opening cut that you make. And usually it's a lot of people go from heel to heel. I don't cut from heel to heel. I cut from the inside. I cut from the inside straight down the leg, come right just between his testes and his penis there, all the way to the other inside. And you get that square flap. When they measure a coon at NAFA, they measure from the nose to that flap. That's how you get your length in your coons. And that'll put money in your pocket, I promise. I started using that, got a set of DVDs from when I was at the Nationals a couple years back. It's $20 for the set. You can go through Wisconsin Trappers Association. $20 for the set. I don't think that price has went up, but you can use it, and it shows you every North American animal, fur-bearing animal that you can use, and it shows you all the opening cuts on it. Believe me, if you got a $100 cat there, you don't want to make him a $5 cat, you know. So do yourself a favor, get you those DVDs. And the neat thing about them is you can put them on pause and go out there and do something to the animal, you know, work on them. If you're not quite sure, go back out there and look at your DVD and come back out and finish him out. You save yourself a lot of money. You'll have a bigger fur check if you do that. That's some of the sets I use there quite a bit. Talk, lure and bait. I catch a lot of raccoons in a dirt hole set. When I'm setting for canines, I catch a lot of raccoons in a dirt hole set for coyotes, of all things. I actually make a coyote set, and then I got a big old boar coon running around in the trap. And I find that I have to go in there usually and catch coons out, get the coon population knocked down, to start picking up the coyotes in the area. This year I caught 109 coyotes already this year. But I'm doing damage control work. I actually rolled right out of trapping season straight into damage control work, and I'm catching coyotes that are causing damage to cattle farmers that are killing their calves and stuff. And you take a registered Black Angus cow out there, which is what I had about 4 weeks ago. I had a man call me. He said, I got a registered Black Angus cow. She got killed by coyotes, and when a definite sign on the coyote is when he comes in, he'll actually eat their hams out of it. So I went in and I actually had to catch the coons out of the way before I got to the coyote. But when I got on the coyotes, I caught 15 coyotes off of that one carcass there. So he was infested with coyotes. But if you pay attention to a lot of stuff we tell you this weekend, you probably pick up a few tips. I'll be around here all weekend. You're more welcome to come by, talk to me personally. I'll show you my gear. I'm not going anywhere. I'm here for the duration, for the weekend. So that's pretty much everything I got. If anybody's got any questions on trapping coons or anything, lure bait. The lure and bait, what I got is I usually use menhaden oil or I use salmon oil. I've actually went to the fish grease. I've actually used that fish grease. It's thick and it kind of gels up in the winter. Just take smear it, use for a smear set, smear it up high on the stick here. And that coon, he's working. He's up here with that nose walking around and around that thing, but he's planting feet all around that. And I want him to get him to move his feet. If I can get him to move his feet, he's in a trap. And I got him in deep water. So he's pretty easy to catch. Coon's not a hard animal to catch, but do yourself a favor, get those DVDs and you'll save yourself a lot of money. Put money in your pocket. That's what we're about, putting money in our pocket, right? We want to stick money in our pocket. That's what trapping is about. And getting out having fun, take some kids with you when you go out. I recommend that. Teach them something. I started learning when I was 6 years old from my grandpa, and I've been going at it hard ever since. I'm 58 years old, so I don't show no signs of quitting anytime soon, you know. Love it. Love to get out and do this stuff. That's pretty much everything I got today.